When Hashem wanted to create the world, the first level is that he had this thought, and everything was contained in Hashem's thoughts, and there's absolutely no differentiation there. It's all there is the soul. So it's called Adam. Adam means like a person who's defined. You have 10 faculties. But it's called Kadmon. Kadmon means he has no beginning. It's referring to Hashem. It's a contradiction in terms. How could there be Adam, 10 Sfirot, which is defined, Kadmon, no beginning? That goes to Hashem. How is it possible? Because it's like the soul, just like the soul. The soul is simple. The soul is undefined. The soul doesn't have all these but the soul has all these faculties, and yet it's not differentiated. It's not defined yet. It just carries it. You can't separate the faculties from the soul. So you have Adam. You have already the full Adam, all the faculties, but it's completely one with Hashem. There's no differentiation between Hashem and all these faculties. And all the worlds that are created from Hashem thinking of everything. Adam Kadmon. It's a unity, very sublime unity. Everything is one. Then the next level is, he says, Baruch Hu. Blessed is he. Blessed is he refers, when you say he, it means I can't describe the person. All I can say is he. I know he's there. I don't know who he is. I don't know what he is. I just know he is. He. Who? Ata is you. When I say Ata is you, you're right in front of me. I can describe you. I can define you. I know you. Who is saying I don't know you. I just know of you. I know that you exist. I don't know anything about your existence. I just know that you exist. So this is referring to the next level. The level like the light that's within the sun. It's insignificant, but you have the sun and you have the light. It's like the faculties within the soul that are included in the soul. So you have the faculties, but I don't know what it is. To use an analogy, you have fire, right? You have a candle. I know what the candle is. I know what the fire is. Not only do I know that there is a fire, it's right in front of me. I see it. I know what it is. Then you have a coal. A coal, I don't see the fire. I know there's a fire. It's hot, it's red. If you touch it, you're going to get burnt. And if you blow it, you will inflame the fire. So I know within the coal there's a fire. I can't see the fire in the coal, but I know there's a fire. It's not a revealed fire. It's not like a candle, a flame that's revealed and open. It's a coal. But within the coal, I know, I can tell from the outside, I can tell that there's a fire in there. I can't see the fire inside the coal, but I know there's a fire there. And if you blow it, it will be exposed. That's like Baruch Hu. You're saying that I know, but I don't know what it is, but I know that it is. Then you have a fire, a flame within a flintstone. A flintstone has the ability to give out fire. If you strike the flintstone, you will always get a fire. There, not only don't I know what the flame is, I don't even know it exists. You can go by and you won't even know there has the ability. You won't even make a connection. A stone should give out a flame. A stone that can be in water for thousands of years, and you take it out, you dry it, you strike it, you'll always get a spark. It doesn't even make sense. So it's completely hidden. The fire and the stone are completely hidden. There's no connection. I don't see any connection between the fire and the stone. So not only I don't know what it is, I don't even know of its existence. There's no connection. You have a connection that's hidden, but at least I know. For example, every tree has a root. Now the roots are buried in the ground. I look at the tree, I don't see the roots, but I know there are roots. I don't see the roots, but I know there are roots. If there's a tree, there has to be a root, otherwise the tree would be dead. So it has to be rooted. There has to be a root that's alive and that's connecting the tree and it's nurturing and nourishing the tree. So from the tree, I know that something exists. I don't see it. I don't know what it is. I can't see it. It's buried in the ground, but I know that there is a root. I see a building. I know there's a foundation. I don't see the foundation, but I know that there's a foundation. So when an idea pops into my head, I know that it came from somewhere. I don't know where it came from. I can't define it, my subconscious, but I know that it exists. So that's like pointing to something it exists. Something that I can't define, but I know it's there. This is like the subconscious. This is already the next level. This is already the level where there is a differentiation between like the soul and its faculty. That the faculty does exist in a certain sense, but it's separate from the soul, but it's part of the soul. You can't separate it from the soul. It's not part of my consciousness. It's still contained within the soul. It's hidden, but it's still something separate. It's like the coal, the fire and the coal. So the fire and the coal is separate versus the fire and the flintstone. It's inseparable. I can't separate it from the stone. As long as I have a stone, I'll always get a fire. You can bury the stone, you can put it into water, submerge it into water, it doesn't matter. As long as there's a stone, you also have the fire. You also have the ability to give off the spark. So that was the first level. Baruch Sheamar, that's where Hashem is so hidden, primordial man, Adam Kadme, which is inseparable. There's no separation between the faculty and the soul that carries it in Hashem and the world that Hashem is envisioning. That there, not only I don't know what it is, I don't even know it exists. The root and the source of the world is so sublime, is so one with Hashem, that I don't even know of its existence. He said, and the world came into being. And the next level, then Hashem led it to the next level, Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu, where now there is already like a fire and a coal. There is already the sun and the light. There is the soul and the faculties. The difference is not like the faculties are in our conscious level, where each faculty has its own unique organ, the right brain and the left brain. When the soul contains all the faculties, they're all in one place. It's like 10 faculties in one place within the soul. Not like on the conscious level, where each faculty has its own unique vessel, its own unique organ. So there's already a differentiation, and there's already an acknowledgement of a source. Now, why did Hashem have to create the world this way? Hashem could do anything. Hashem could have just created the world, just created us without going through this whole, we call Seder Shtalshlus. First you have to start primordial man, and then you have to start with the world of Keser, the crown, the subconscious. And truly, and there really have two levels. You have where the soul contains all the abilities, and then you have the subconscious, which is the source for the conscious intellect, and then you have the conscious level. Why did Hashem could have just created the world directly? Because Hashem wants us to know that we have a source. Hashem would have created us, because Hashem could do anything, then we would never know, we would never make a connection with Hashem. We would never know that we have a source. Like you look at a tree, you wouldn't even know there's a root. You look at a building, you wouldn't even know there's a foundation. You look at the stone, you don't see anything. You don't see that there's a connection to fire and a stone. There's no connection. It will be a world that's completely disconnected. Hashem wanted us to know, to be able to feel that we have a source. We have a foundation. We come from somewhere. And that's why Hashem created this whole process, where in the next level, it's Baruch Hu. I know Him. I don't know what He is, but I know there is a Him. The eureka moment of an idea pops into my mind. I know that there's a subconscious. I don't know what it is. I don't know what's going on, but I know that it exists. I know I have it. It's within me. I have it. And my whole consciousness comes from that source. So Hashem didn't want to create a world that's so disconnected that we don't even have the ability to know that we have a source, that there is a creator. Hashem wanted us to be able to recognize and to acknowledge that we have a root and we have a source and we have a creator, and that everything comes from somewhere and something beyond ourselves. So that's why Hashem went through this whole process. The next level is Baruch, blessed is Omer va'osa. He says and he does. And this refers to the level of Chachma, the level of wisdom, of Atzilus. That's the beginning of consciousness. That's the beginning of Adam, where Adam is fully formed, where, so to speak, you have the mind, and you have the heart, and you have the right brain, and the left brain, and you have the right arm, and the left arm, and you have the 248 limbs and 365 veins. And he says, Baruch Hu Omer va'osa. Because why did Hashem have to create the world with wisdom? Because it takes tremendous wisdom to be able to put together body and soul, to put together the energy, the light, and the vessel, you need tremendous wisdom. Because light, energy, and vessel are two opposites. Body and soul are two opposites. Not only that, within the body itself, within the vessel itself, within the light itself, you also have two opposites. And you need tremendous wisdom to create a perfect balance. A vessel is a paradox. On one hand, a vessel is limited, how much it could contain. Whatever it contains, it covers up on, conceals, and you could only put so much into the vessel. Otherwise, the vessel will overflow or burst. So it's limited to what it can contain, and it hides. I look in the vessel, I don't know what's in the inside. It covers up on what's in the inside. So that's like the ability to restrain, to contain, to hold, to limit. That's primarily what a vessel is. On the other hand, a vessel, it has to be fit for whatever it's holding. Every vessel has to match what it's holding. There's some vessels that hold bread. A basket is fit for bread. Some vessels hold liquid. Every vessel has to be customized for what it holds, for what it contains. So it has to fit, and it has to be able to contain what you place into the vessel. So that's the exact opposite. It's not limiting, it enables. It enables to receive and to absorb and to be able to express and to contain what's put into the vessel. Now, take for example, a person, right? You have a body and a soul, so it's the same thing. On one hand, the body limits the soul and contains the soul. The body holds the soul down. It's like you have a fire and you have a wick and you have oil. So the oil and the wick have to hold the fire down, have to contain the fire. Otherwise, the fire will just go away. So it has to contain it, it has to hold it. On the other hand, the body has to be fit for the soul. Not every body is fit for a soul. If you take a human soul and put it into an animal, that's one of the most painful punishments for the soul. To be reincarnated in an animal which is not fit for a human soul, for human abilities, it's so painful. So the body has to match the soul, has to be fit for the soul. Like every organ has to be fit for its ability. The brain, for the ability to think, to understand, to comprehend. The heart, for the ability to feel. So it has to be, like the oil and the wick have to be perfectly suited for the fire. Now it has to be also well balanced. There's a lot of wisdom here because the vessel has to be perfectly balanced. If you have a vessel, a body that's too coarse, so then yes, you contain the soul, but the point is not just to contain the soul, the body has to fit the soul, so the body itself also comes alive. The body itself also becomes a vehicle and a vessel for the soul. It could absorb the soul and it could express the soul. It's not just to hide, it's also to express and to reveal at the same time. So you need a perfect balance of hiding, concealing, and expressing. So if the soul can't be too coarse, if the soul is too coarse, then it won't reveal the soul, then the body will just hide the soul. It's like you use oil or wicks that are not appropriate, that are very coarse. Yes, so you're going to contain the fire, but it won't be a bright light. It won't be a light that's helpful. The light will be very coarse. The light will be crass. It'll be a dim light. It's not a suitable match. It's not a suitable fit. So it doesn't help the light to express itself. On the contrary, it will dim the light and harm light. When it comes to Shabbos, the whole Mishnah discusses which wicks you can use and which oil you can use. It has to be fitting oil that helps the light, it contains the light, limits the light and contains the light, but also is fitting for the light, allows the light to reveal itself. On the other hand, if the oil and the wick are too fine, again, it'll burn up right away. It won't contain the light. Yes, it's very fitting for the light, a perfect match, but it's not. It can't contain it. It'll burn out right away. You need wisdom to put together a perfect match. So we say Baruch Sheamar va'isa. We thank Hashem for creating the world through the wisdom, Chachma, divine wisdom, supernal wisdom, which is the beginning of consciousness, the beginning of Seder Shtalshelus. Because of this wisdom, Hashem matched the lights, the energies, and the vessels. And therefore, since they're a perfect match, they're able to contain it and be productive. Not like in the world of chaos. where the lights and the energy and the vessels didn't match, and therefore it was destructive. And it's not only the vessel that needs wisdom. The light also has paradoxical tendencies. It's called, in the language of Hasidus, you have a light that's straight and you have a light that's reflective light. The straight light is, because the nature of light is, you want to shine, you want to extend, you want to illuminate as far away as possible, as much as possible. A person who has wisdom wants to teach and wants his wisdom to reach further and further. He wants to be able to communicate his wisdom to people who are very far away from him. So they should also be able to understand. And therefore he tries to find the right words to be able to explain it, that even a simple person will be able to understand. On the other hand, sometimes when you feel like you're explaining things so well, but you feel like you're losing the authenticity, the genuineness. You're saying a lot of words, you're speaking and speaking and speaking, but you're off. You're very off. You're not being true to the point. You're not being true to the essence, to that initial excitement of what the idea is truly all about. So you're just talking and talking and talking, and you can talk a lot, and you can use a lot of words. It seems very clever and but it's like off the point. And therefore, what you want to do is, you want to withdraw into yourself, and you want to reconnect, go back to the source, go back to the origin, to capture once again the genuine, the core, the essence of the idea, to be true and faithful to the essence of the idea. So it's like a paradox. It's two opposite. On one hand, you want to express yourself and express it and take the idea very far, to bring it out and to explain it so everyone can understand. On the other hand, you want to be true to the truth. You want it to be truthful. You want it to be genuine. You want it to be authentic. You want it to be meaningful, words that really matter, not just... Now, you have people who are one or the other. You have people who are very communicative, and they can talk a storm, and they can talk for hours, but they talk and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk, and they get so far away from the truth of the idea that, it's like missing the whole point. On the other hand, you have people who are always so faithful and genuine that they hardly say anything, because the moment they speak, they already feel, I'm not expressing, I'm not connecting, I'm already moving away from that authenticity. So they can sit in silence and they won't say anything. So it takes a tremendous balance to be able to balance these two things. On one hand, to be genuine and to be authentic and to be true to the purity of the idea and the essence of the idea without diluting the idea. And at the same time, to be able to take that undiluted idea and that depth and that core and essence and to communicate it in simple language, a language that even a regular simple person could understand. So it takes a lot of wisdom. And therefore Hashem created the world with tremendous wisdom, because Hashem has to match the lights with the vessel. As it is, lights and vessels are opposites. Lights self-express, vessels contain, but the truth is within the vessel itself, you have both. The vessel contains and conceals, but the vessel also is there to fit and to express the light, the energy. And on the other hand, the light itself, the light wants to be true to its source, but the light also wants to convey the idea farther away. So it takes tremendous, tremendous wisdom. That's why Hashem has to match a soul with a body. It has to be a perfect match. Because if you have a soul, that's a communicator that likes to communicate and to convey, and then you give that person a very coarse body, then the soul will be drowned in the body. The soul will lose its connection to its source. The soul will be completely drowned in its body. On the other hand, if you take a very fine soul whose whole desire is to go back to its source, and the moment it walks away from the source, it feels already it's unfaithful and it wants to connect to its source, and you give it a very fine body, again, he won't be part of this world. It'll be like an angel. It'll be like a pure spirit. Like the Maggid's son was called a malach. He was like a malach, an angel. He wasn't part of this world. He didn't care about anything physical. Hashem wants us to be in this world. He wants us to be part of this world. So you have to have a perfect combination. That a soul that's very very deep and very refined and very connected, wants to be connected to its source and be genuine, authentic. That soul, Hashem has to give a little of a coarser body to keep that soul grounded in this world. A soul that's very into projection and goes far away from the source, Hashem has to give that soul a refined body, a more refined body. So Hashem creates everything with wisdom. Someone said, why did Hashem... many religious Jews will tell you the truth. If they were not born religious, they probably would never, ever, ever become religious, or never, ever become Baal Tshuva. Hashem knew who to create where and what challenges to give, because every soul is different. On the contrary, someone must have a tremendously great soul, that even with all these disadvantages, they can find their way back to Hashem and come home. So it takes tremendous wisdom. Hashem created the whole world and put together, matched the bodies and the souls and the lights and the kelim with tremendous wisdom. It all starts with wisdom. Baruch Sheamar v'oiseh. He said and he did it v'oiseh. So we're praising Hashem. And then Baruch Geyser Makayim, that's referring to the world of Bina. That's the next level. But that we'll get to next week, to be continued.